Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again for a second take on episode 14 because we did a whole episode that the kids would call lit and or flames and or whatever else that they say. We had horrific technical issues, and to be honest, spent simply too long trying to fix it. It's a fucking hellscape. I've sworn in the first 5 minutes and I don't care. Fuck everyone and everything. Livid.
And the day they were born.
And the day that they were born. But that doesn't mean anything because we're that dedicated. I mean, it happened. It happened. Like,
adapt and overcome.
Exactly. I'm willing to drink my own piss. Everyone knows that. I'm willing to drink someone else's piss, but don't dare them if Streets really wants to do this dares for donation thing. Like, anyway, before we start today's delicious fight action, today me and Streets actually met up in person, and I was astonished.
3D.
I know, like in person, we hugged and everything. Like, fuck COVID. I was astonished about how tall he is. I always forget how tall he is, and I think he's also astonished about how short I am. It's a real moment, and we met in a spot where I walked into a lamppost not that long ago, big, whilst he was on a very important phone call, and I think it completely derailed the phone call, and I hit it hard. I hit it, and it went plump, and my eyebrow swelled
with intention.
up. Exactly, and it was just like whatevs. But yeah, here we are. Last week was a massive week of guests.
It was.
This week, so far, it's going to be a big week of guests. Yeah, we're going to have Denzel Bentley on. Boom.
Shameless advertising on the mug and T-shirt, by the way. Just
look at that.
Putting that.
Look at that. xbrain.co.uk. We'll do a proper one of them a little bit later when the moment arises. As you can see, I'm deeply leaning back because it's 10 something. Don't even care. I've got another double up there. We're just going to go in.
Episode 14B.
Here we are, episode 14. 14, 14B. Fine. These things happen. It has been resolved, so it can't happen again. Let's see.
We've adapted. We've overcome.
Exactly. Just to give a little bit of explanation about what's going on. Streets and I are going to be putting in a proper shift and preparing Patreon content. Okay. The first phase of Patreon will be essentially early release with no ads. What we will do, we will put the C and CC meets X person probably a week ahead of time, as well as the history episodes will be on there a week ahead of time. We will be probably doing Patreon exclusive content, as well as basically flourishing in our truth and abundance. We're going to be donating the first 2 months of the Patreon from the minute it goes live, calendar 2 months, right? So we're going to set a target of let's be conservative and say from 2 weeks from today, which is the 28th of September, right?
Which is mad in itself.
It's fucking mental, isn't it? It's October 3rd.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's October this week. Disgusting. We will donate the entire first 2 months of the Patreon to a crowd fund that helps basically young Nigerian athletes achieve their dream, right? Because we had Larry the Natural Epiyunde on. Yeah, exactly. And he was telling stories about what it was like to come up in Nigeria, sharing gum shields, sharing boots that had no tread on them, like gloves that they made themselves. Like it's just like for not very much money, you can do an awful lot of good. And them kids on their video, they move like tiny professional athlete. It's ridiculous. Right? It's ridiculous. They move in a way that takes years and years to develop. And it's out of control. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for the Patreon. And we're going to try and do some good with it. You know what I mean? Because, I've got 2 and a bit years before my trust fund kicks in. Streets, you've got 1 and a bit years, right?
Yeah, before we start robbing the banks. Yeah.
Exactly. Right? So basically, this is what it is. So, until that comes in, we're going to be giving that. But my friend, we had a robust weekend of fights, did we not?
Rotund. It was.
Rotund. It was body positive, wasn't it?
I was like, do we go there? Do we wait for Patreon?
Went there. It's 10 p.m. Fuck it. Yeah, it was a Bopo weekend, and we had UFC, UK. Oh, I mean, where was the cruiserweights? Like Poland. Who knows where that was? That was somewhere in Europe. There was en français. Parlez-vous en français avec des bonjours? And the States, obviously.
Fucking all over the shop.
As it's now our thing, let's flip a coin whether we go ring or cage.
And then throw the fucking coin away.
France. Yeah?
France.
Yeah? We'll start with Yoka versus Duhpuahus.
Duhpuahus. I'm sticking with that.
He looked good, didn't he, Yoka? He bashed the fuck out of him. Big
time.
Big
time. I was going to say, like we discussed last episode, but that episode didn't go live. So discussing this episode.
Exactly.
So for those who don't know the background of Tony Yoka, he beat Joe Joyce at the Olympics to win the gold medal. He'd previously beat Filip Hrgović, who had previously beaten him, but that was earlier, so in their most recent outing. Who else did he beat? He beat Joseph Parker at the Youth Olympics. He's a savage. And
he looks the part as well. That I know that sounds so vain to say, but that when you see a heavyweight that has that structure, he has that look about him that just says star.
Yeah.
Right? And he has that. Plus an Olympic gold medal.
Olympic gold medal. And so in a previous episode, we had discussed how when people start out, and we're going to be very fortunate to have someone on the show soon who is a great example of that. But generally, they fight people durable as fuck, but they're more on the journeyman side of things. So what they are there to do is to give the prospects rounds, give them hard rounds so they can learn on the fly. But generally, people don't fight someone with a winning record for their first 10 or so bouts. Yoka went straight into fighting a 12-0 person, which in itself is super legit. And I tallied up the wins of his opponents: 154 wins and 27 losses. Now, for someone who's only 8 fights in, that's fucking brilliant. That shows they're really looking to make something of him. And Duhpuahus, he lasted different distance with Baby Miller, lasted 6 with Povetkin, 11 with Wilder.
I mean, that's something in itself, isn't it, doing 11 with Wilder?
Big time. And Yoka fucked him up. Yeah. Like, he didn't last the round. Like, he dropped him twice in the first. Yeah. Big uppercut, the first one was, and then just sealed the deal. It was a real dominant performance. And not just like, for a guy that big, high guard, he got on the inside. He wanted it on the inside. Fucking beautiful fight. I'll definitely be watching him.
To get him away from whatever the French scene is, and get him over into Germany, the States, the UK, like somewhere that's really gonna have a heavyweight scene that helps him. Yeah,
definitely, mate. Definitely. We discussed Taylor. Should we go for him?
Yeah, Taylor. To be fair, he's a bit of a gem, isn't he? He's a British gem. He really is. The Tartan Tornado, epic name, TTT. He fought Khongsong, who's a banger, and his one claim to fame was like a starfish knockout of someone who'd never been knocked out before. Like, he clearly had power.
Yep.
Taylor absolutely fucking destroyed him. It was like he had a blade on the end of his glove, and he just shank up manned him, just down like a sack of shit, like a really
body shot.
Yeah, like tight, in close, but it wasn't like one of those clinch cuff ones. It was like
Wolverine. It's like he had that fucking blade and just came out the other side of his shoulder.
Like, that was it. Murder, She Wrote, done. Hands out. Another one done.
Praise be.
Praise be.
So, sets up hopefully that unification with Ramirez, because that'll be sweet. Because Taylor already beaten Prograis, which we discussed. Baranchik, I think how you say it, Postel, O'Hara Davies. You know, he's beat quality people. He's going to keep it coming. That's some exciting fights coming up.
Yep. Charlie Edwards fought on that fight. Come back.
Yeah.
Got a 10-round decision. He looked good. It was a bit of a row. Yeah, Charlie's. He seems a genuinely nice guy, right?
Genuinely nice guy. Beautiful boxer to watch too.
Great teeth.
Fantastic.
Great teeth. But yeah, he seems a genuinely nice lad. Do you want to go cruisers? And then we'll go stateside.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So we had Yonio Dorticos and Maris Bredis. So that was for the Muhammad Ali Trophy, the World Boxing Super Series. A fantastic event. They
really are good events, right?
They are brilliant. And I love the look of it too.
Yeah. Yeah, everything about it, like when they've got the big one with the stadium, with the crowd, and they've got the light,
the circle light thing.
Yeah, it's.
It looks like you dropped a hit of acid or something. It's like,
yeah, it's like, where was all of these ideas when you was at Golden Boy, Schaefer?
Yeah.
Where was all this? You know what I mean? Like he's doing a pretty good job with that, and like Josh Taylor come from that. You know, progress like the Ali Cup, the World Series, it's epic. It's a great tournament, and they seem to be getting
Callum Smith, Usyk. You know, it's a fucking
It's like a list of people that have gone through it, and
it's the best way because it is like it's such a good way of like the alphabet soup of belts. Just such a good idea to bring them together, build up the names of the people.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about with Russ. Name drop, no big deal. We've got guests now because they're big guests. Because we're fucking epic. Yes or yes? Are we in the top 8% globally of podcasts? Yes. Did we try? Not really. Imagine if we actually put a proper shift in.
Which we are now.
Yeah. I may or may not have DM'd someone that's got a podcast that's a boxing one and just messaged him, our podcast is better than yours.
It's starting beef left, right, centre.
Don't care.
Biggie and Puck going down in this bitch.
I don't care. You got one behind you. I've seen it. You got your gold one.
I got both. There's Biggie, there's Puck. Look, we're prepping both sides.
No. Beautiful. But this is now coming into the era where I personally think that boxing is going back to the 70s and the 80s, where the O is important, but it's losing a lot.
Not everything.
It's losing a lot. That pristine era is done, right?
Yeah.
We saw that with Floyd.
Yeah.
Everyone else, you know, Bud and et cetera, et cetera. But Bud doesn't seem that fussed about fighting people.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like Thurman. You remember when Thurman was like, yes, I am undefeated, but I'll give that up in a heartbeat to fight the best. You know what I mean? He did.
Yeah. And he has.
Yep.
Right? You know, like Danny Swift. He's lost a few times. Doesn't make him any less epic. You know, Spence undefeated. But
he's the sort of guy, if he loses, not like, fuck Spence. They're the guys where, look, you're fighting the best in the world. I lost, so you pick it up. Fine, let's see it again. We get to see the rematch. And
I mean, and that's kind of the beauty of that tournament. Like with Taylor and Prograis, that's boys, how dare I? That's young fighters at world level on the cusp of superstardom, and they're both undefeated. They're both, you know, at the point where in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, that O could have properly derailed things.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. You know, like I will actively and happily watch Prograis in whatever fight he has next. I'm a proper fan. Same with Taylor. Like if he'd have lost, like he still, like you still win everyone over. Anyway,
yeah, big time. Man.
Like AJ's lost his own.
Yeah.
You know, Tyson Fury, he's got a draw. Like it's not. They're not unblemished anymore, and they don't seem that fast, which is brilliant.
Yeah. The heavy seems to be like, because people want to buy into this invincible character, and it's just, look, man, you put 10-ounce gloves on people that fucking big, people are going to get knocked out. You know, people are going to lose. So,
I mean that is something that we're going to go over on a history episode, which is the glove itself. That might be a half-hour one because that might be a little bit dry to the listener, but the long and short of it is like, you know, someone like AJ, who they have him listed at 6'6", He's bigger than 6'6". I've seen him a few times.
guy,
You've been next to him a few times. He's bigger than 6'6". And the idea, like, I have people moan when I use 10-ounce gloves on pads, right? And I'm 5'8" at a push. You're talking about a 6'7", 6'8", 100+ kilo man cracking professionally in 10-ounce gloves with professional wraps, which is basically a cast to protect their hand, right?
Yeah, it's not the bare knuckle cast.
No. Those gloves are legit to protect their hands more so than to protect their opponent. But yeah, I digress.
Because that's the thing for anyone that trains and they put their gloves on. Essentially, if you've got a loose wrap and you put your glove on, you're losing a lot of the power in the air between your fist and the glove. Now, when you make that glove smaller, obviously there's less. But when you pad out your hands and you've got the gauze on top, it's like hitting someone with a brick. And it's not like these guys can't punch. So really, respect to them. When you're saying, oh, just fucking hit, just know what that feels like.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was the cruiserweight successor, wasn't it? After Usyk has left the division, basically. It's a good fight. It was a good fight.
It was a fucking brilliant fight.
Very, very. It was very classic. Like, as completely reductive as it sounds, it was a classic boxing match, wasn't it? Like it was exactly that. Like it was two guys trying to outthink each other, with the consequence of getting sparked out in front of the camera crew. Great fight. Discuss. Hit me.
And as I was saying too, like on the most remedial level, they need to hire the cornermen for both those guys for every COVID show, because it was proper vibing in there.
They were hype,
like
weren't
not
they?
Many people. It was a fucking vibe. So yeah, shout out to them. So background on the guys. Dorticos, Cuban fighter, so he's going to be handy.
6 shorts. Bit of copper and gold sequin. Come on now on a white background.
There you go.
Get
in. It was that KO lost to Murat Gassiev. That was a big one. But Bredis only loss was to Usyk. He went the distance, and I mean it's Usyk. What the fuck?
Usyk.
So they're super high level guys, and it showed in the fight. Like anything you could ask for was there. They were cracking each other, but there was great technique. A beautiful show.
Yeah, it really was. Bredis now walks away with the cup, the IBF strap.
Fucking beautiful cup. And having 2 pictures of Muhammad Ali looking down on you when you fight. If something doesn't get you hyped. And that's
exactly. I mean, I've got him here now. Look, shout out to Streets. Bought me a little present. Look at him. And the ring super champion belt, which always makes me think of Rocky. That was always Rocky's strap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It always was.
Until he laid it on Apollo's grave, but
Yeah. I've got at the gym a thing that was donated to me by a gentleman named The Page, which is like matchbox cards of Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Balboa, and then underneath it, yes, those, right? But underneath it, it's got a cell from the original film of each one of the films.
Tasty.
Right? If COVID takes over, that's going to get extracted and that's going to come into the studio / our studio when we finally get one. Because as we said, we're in the top 10%. It's not going to be long before in that top 5%. And then when that top 5, going for the ones.
Come for the crown.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
That's right. Let him be. Let him be. There's enough for all of us, isn't there?
That's right.
There's enough for all of us.
A percentage of that 100 mil will go a long way.
I'd be all right with that. Right. Yeah, well worth a little look. Good fight. Good fight.
Cracking fight.
Oh, shall we go stateside?
We shall.
Do you want to do big or little Charlo first?
Let's go Casimero, man, because like
angry
little monster, mate.
Yeah,
little monster.
Angry.
WBO bantamweight.
That's the geezer that assaulted Charlie Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Got DQ'd.
And Tete.
Yeah, like when he fought Charlie Edwards, that was one of the very rare times in sports where you see someone from the second world who probably has raised himself, has probably drunk a lot of drain water, and now has the opportunity to really make a good living
and
against someone.
Giving it up.
Yeah, exactly. He was willing to kill, and he nearly did. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a fucking savage. Like, what he puts behind those punches,
He's so
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
He's so aggro.
So he fought Duke Micha, handed him his first defeat, and it was a savage beating at that. Like, that's
Really
a hell of a way to get.
It was a lesson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a lesson. Like, I'm not giving this up for anyone.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this.
Yeah.
And he did get it. Like, he got beat up straight up. Like, he attacked him, and he did.
Relentless.
Micha didn't seem like a particularly non-skilled slick boxer, did he? Like, there was just no answer for it. It was just a storm. He just dropped a typhoon on that motherfucker.
He fucking did, mate. And then bust out the one-arm push-ups, which
just to let him know. In a glove as well. Not even like you can give it the palm spread. That's well worth a little 3-round look if someone wants to have a look at that, because it is just like, everyone loves KOs, everyone loves destruction,
and it's legalized assault.
It was assault. It was like,
it
I was
belongs on World
going,
Star. It was that much of a beatdown.
I was chanting World Star. My youngest was sitting on my lap watching it, going World Star. Shout out to Liv. Right, Big Charlo.
Yeah.
What can you say about Big Charlo? That epic counterpuncher, epic power, very skilled, very strong. This fight, to be fair, displayed a level of toughness I don't think we've seen before.
Yes.
Because Derevyanchenko is like a Tasmanian devil, isn't he? Like, he's built like Taz. He just comes at you and at you and at you. And every single fight that he's had at the top flight, like, got dropped in the first round by Danny Jacobs. Split decision, razor thin, right? Got dropped in the second round, I think it was, by Triple G. Maybe first round. He got dropped early,
I think.
right? Razor thin decision with Triple G, right?
And, I mean, as we discussed, we fucking love Triple G. And that decision was close.
Exactly. If that had been a draw, I don't think many people would have called up for a robbery. Like, that was, the knockdown was the difference in that fight.
Yeah.
Fact, right? I don't know if Triple G underestimated him. I don't know if he potentially is the foil to Triple G's style. Now he's a little bit older because he's got that Ukrainian...
He's just that guy. I think he's the foil to a lot of people because he just doesn't stop coming. Well, as we discussed. So he's like a kettle boiling. Yeah. And
Same as Usyk, same as Loma. They just keep going and going and going.
It's just that with him, it's arguably, it starts boiling a bit too late. Like, if he brings it on a couple of rounds early, fucking that's trouble for anyone. It's just like, he almost like the first half the fight, or 5 rounds. Yeah.
It's round 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's nearly always round 5. But by that point, so if he really starts turning it on and changing the fight at round 5, potentially he's lost half the fight. In his biggest fights, he's been dropped. So now he's got an extra round to pick up as well. So he really has to then win 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to get a draw.
For sure.
Right? So where a Loma has a look in the first round, half of the second round, and then it just goes, turn to 11, you're done. Usyk, and also same thing. Boom.
Yeah. And both of those have the thing where it's like, in those rounds, they're not getting hit. You know, they're just like slicking and sliding. And like Derevyanchenko, it's just hard as fuck. Like, it's not like he is getting hit, but it's just, he's also hitting back. He's giving out great shots, but he's taking great shots. So that leads to sway rounds. You know, when someone's not getting hit, but they're hitting, that's an easy round to score. But when it's give or take, then you're kind of leaving up to the scorecards.
I mean, he pressured Charlo.
Yep.
He was combination punching. He was doing everything that you needed to do. He set the blueprint to kind of what you need to do to beat Charlo if Charlo is the same guy that it fought that night. I think if you do that 2 rounds before, you got a very different fight, like you said. He got wobbled a couple of times.
Yeah.
Didn't go down.
Yep.
Gave it the old fucking shaky wobbly knee. But whatever it was in him, and it was like, I can't go down because I'm going to lose this on the back of that again. And he somehow managed to get up, which was fucking impressive.
And Charlo, I mean, what a fucking nightmare to fight because, like, at range, his jab, Jesus Christ.
Piston.
Then he's got the right hand to match.
Yep.
Then on the inside, that uppercut, like
He's
to see
on either
beautiful
hand.
uppercuts is just exactly.
Yeah.
And then to have it on both hands, and he's got the hook to match. So it's
Big
just
left
like
hook. Yeah.
body shots too.
What that was the one that had 118, 110, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Someone had, like Charlo got the decision, probably 4 rounds Charlo, because there's enough argument for 10-9s with Charlo winning that 8-4-ish, give or take. Like, there's enough of those rounds, 7-5.
But you've got to give Derevyanchenko some rounds. So 118, 110.
Absolutely. It's a piss take.
Yeah.
It's a piss take.
And also, too, it's like so demoralizing because you're like, what do I have to do then? Do you know what I mean? Those sorts of scorecards make the guy think, I left everything here. You look at his face, like, he's been in a fight.
Yeah, he looked a bit bare knuckle, didn't he?
Yeah.
But then, like, the other 2 judges were a lot closer. So surely, like, if I'm a judge, right, and they call out that decision, I know what I've done, and I turn to Keith, and I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, oh, yeah, I did that similar to me. And you turn to fucking Clive, and you're like, what are you talking about? 118, 110? Like, dinner's on you then, is it? You know what I mean? Like, who bunged you?
They need just the one thing, I think. They just need that live scoring. Like, you need to see the scores as they're happening. You know,
problem is
when they do like in the Dallas cards and things like that.
Yeah, but it takes away from the fights, doesn't it? When it's open scoring, I tell you what is always much more in line with the actual fight as per you see it, is always the TV analyst.
Yeah.
Like the Steve Farhood, the Lettermans, the whoever Sky Sports will have on that particular evening. They're always much closer to what you're seeing than at least 1 or 2 of the judges. And I'm just not sure what it is about the telly judges that just like...
Well, it's also, too, a lot of the time the telly judges, they're watching on the monitor, and a lot of the time the judges are literally watching the fight, and they've said like a million times, like the judge has one of the worst... I mean, you know what it's like being that close. It's like, it's hard to see.
Yeah, but Farhood's in the same spot.
Yeah.
Farhood's there too. He's ringside. He's not on a closed circuit. He's normally sitting there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird vibe. But yeah, Charlo looks good. They need to be really making him Canelo, him Triple G, him Danny Jacobs. I mean, insert any name at world level middleweight, and I want to see Charlo fight him.
Yeah. I mean, look,
simple
at the very least, you got an exciting fight on your hands. You know what I mean? Like, look, that is a tough fucking division, but it's time. It's time to see all them fights unfold. You got all the problems with Canelo, you know, the names they're saying, we've discussed this before, but saying like Billy Joe is an elite level to earn the money, that's harsh.
That's
but,
a mistake. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but if you need someone, put the Charlo fight. And
if you want a pay-per-view seller, the Charlos will do it.
It's not like he's going to turn it down.
Yeah. Right. And I will say this, because both Charlo twins, identical twins, did a double header pay-per-view, considering Big Charlo is one weight division above Little Charlo. Yep. The size difference between them in the ring is fucking vast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, that 6 pound is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand 6 pound on the night versus on the day. Like, I get that. It's probably 15. But it's a big swing between them two, isn't it? Like, physically, they're just so much. It
is. I wish there was as much difference in their name as there is in their figures, because fucking one letter, like, come on.
Jamal.
You're killing us.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't also help them growing up, does it?
Yeah.
Like, because, like, I guarantee you at home, they're just called Jay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like, you know, George Foreman was like, I called all my kids George, and I just
all
yelled, George!
13 of them.
And, they just all come, and he's like, not you.
Yeah, I want George 7. I want Georgina 5.
Oh, mate.
Little Charlo. Unification of I think, the most stacked division in boxing. I think that 154 is the deepest. I think it's the most dangerous for all of. I think on any given night, any of the top 10 takes out the other top 10. You obviously have the top boys. You got Hurd, you got J-Rock, you've got Rosario, you've got fucking Charlo, you've got I mean, even the British side of things, it's
Yeah.
deep as anything, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And I mean, the thing is, we're in such a lucky time at the minute because there's so many divisions like that now. Like lightweight is fucking
rich,
stacked as shit. Welterweight always is.
Yeah.
The heavyweights have got some compelling fucking matchups, which thank God.
Yeah. Took a while.
Yeah, it did take a while. But we're on the good thing where now it's also the newer generation are all set up as well.
Yeah.
You know, you got your Duhpuahus and things like that ready to step up and step in. So, but yeah, I mean, little Charlo, anyone that missed that fight, fuck me. Like, we were talking about this, whether I can't remember. You see body jab knockdowns, but a body jab knockout is hen's teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
he
impaled him.
He really did. Like he was. So Charlo won in the 8th by a body jab knockout, right? Not a knockdown, and even down to the way that Rosario went down was weird. Everything about it was weird.
And stayed down.
It knocked all of the wind out of him. It done God knows what to him. It like shut down his nervous system. He couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
He was stuck. He couldn't move. He was fucked. Right? There was a moment where I thought that something very strange had happened because there was stories, wasn't there, a couple of years ago, that dude in sparring for I can never Zavara, died from a random body shot, and it's just
sparring.
It's sparring, training, doing body sparring. Gets a weird punch he's got some congenital heart defect that if basically your heart jiggles in a certain way, it just shuts down. There was a split second where I was like, has that just happened? Because everything about that, like little Charlo.
Yeah, I went from, did he just throw that fight to, has he ruptured his fucking like aorta or something? Like,
exactly. It went immediately from like, really? To, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very strange one.
Because we discussed this, it was like, it really was one of them 0 to 100 cases, because it's not like he was digging away at the body in that particular thing. It was just that shot fucked him.
The first landed shot of round 8, he literally walked out, feinted a jab. He kind of blocked the jab to the head, went down to the body, jabbed the body, and done.
Yep.
Ta-da. The fight itself, good fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
he got
level too, you know? Yeah. Like it was
surprisingly level, because he got dropped in round 1, right? Yep. He got clipped with a left hook that went off the top of his fucking Swede.
Gave him the Bambi leg.
Yeah, gave him the stiff leg big boy move. Leg fell out the ring a little bit as well, and he went down. But then he recovered really quickly, come back in round 2, went on the attack, and it was competitive until he got dropped again.
6 or something, I think.
And that was a big drop. That was a full left hook, clean on the jaw. Down he went, scrubbing the floors. Up he went, right? But again, got up. Yeah. Was on the attack again. You know,
considering that's a great showing, because.
Well, this is it. This is the thing about him. Like, he's no joke, that guy. He's lost once before. He completely turned over J-Rock, who. The J-Rock performance against Hurd was a masterclass. It was like watching. It was like watching everything that you wanted B-Hop to be, as like aggressive, spiteful, powerful, fast, combination positive with it. It was like everything that
like Hopkins on a Pavlik night, where he had something to fucking prove.
Yeah, it was that, and it was absolute perfection. So like you know, when you see that J-Rock's fighting again, you know, like J-Rock had been absolutely fucking smushed by little Charlo already with one of those big uppercuts. Or was that big Charlo that got him with that? I don't know, whatever. Charlo's Charlo. They're twins. Fucking
yeah. But there's one letter between them.
Yeah, exactly. One letter. Try harder, you know.
There's a lot of names out there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Just try harder. Anyway, then like round 7 on the attack, to be fair, was pushing Charlo back. With the exception of the knockdowns, it was a pretty even fight.
Yeah. Rosario, look, he gave a great account of himself,
Yeah.
especially against the Charlo, because I mean they're some savages to fight. But I mean that body shot, fucking. Ugh.
I would
I
still
actually
like
want
to know what happened
to him. Yeah.
I would still like to know. I mean, like from a pure like physics perspective. I mean, I think I said to you before that I was out running and the string of my hood, as I went down, went directly up my left nostril as I breathed in, and I ended up gagging like I'm back on OnlyFans. There was another physics faux pas in my professional life, but I won't talk about that. But it was a physics one. I'll DM you on that one. But
It's for the Patreon.
For sure. But yeah, it was just like how did that effect happen with that? I mean, it didn't even look like it was one of those big stomping spearing ones. It was literally just
it was a butt bang.
Yeah, just a body jab.
Fucked.
Yeah, done. All you can say is that maybe he was in the perfect spot, in the perfect position of his abdomen, whilst he was mid-breath, coming forward. Who knows? It was bizarre. Like, you know when it's a weird, anomalous KO when the commentary team will go like, oh,
that's that then.
All right.
Maybe Denzel was also maybe just had to take a shit and he was like, all right, fucking I ain't taking no more
I
of
don't
that.
think he needed it anymore.
Yeah, I reckon that evacuated right there and then.
Mm-hmm. They said that about Barrera, didn't they? That Nazim caught him with a big straight to the body and made him shit himself.
Yeah. Do you remember when Tim Sylvia shot himself in the UFC? I mean, it happens quite often, to be fair.
Listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. I don't need to go into the shit stories again, but I've had a few. I thought things were going to get a little bit dicey on the way home today, you know. Plus, I'm like, look, we've all got masks on, so I'm going to be ripping farts on the tube. No one can smell it. But then there was a moment where I got the rosebud, just like that, and I was like, oh, don't need this, right?
Walking home from the knees down.
But while I was having that contingency measure, do I need to run into Sainsbury's and blow it out? But yeah. Anywho, hello. There's someone there. I can't see who they are.
Invaders.
Oh, it's my wife.
Oh.
Hi. Okay. I'm not cutting that out.
Special guest.
Yeah, special guest. But yeah, that will be it for the boxing, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was an epic UFC.
It was a beautiful UFC. Before we go into the UFC, I want to talk about the hellscape that is the UK COVID situation, right? London apparently is on the verge of another lockdown. Apparently, I don't know how you lock down the city like that. You know, this is not Manchester. This is not anywhere up north, whatever. But what that means for us can add an element of anxiety and stress and COVID that we just don't need. And to help combat that, I'm always going to suggest and prescribe. I do prescriptions. I do it on the tube. I do it at Costa. I'm outside Tesco sometimes just ripping out a script. I make them look official as shit, right? Sometimes I've even got a mask on and the lab coat.
Sleepers.
CBD oil, right? Will really sort you out. Like, it is medical fact that CBD oil cures COVID. And I can do you, the gift, Streets, 30% off. Enter promo code Coffee Combat will save you 30%. Now, the globalist agenda is in full force at the moment, right? Full force. We don't know where it's going to go. Are we going to end up with e-currency? Are we going to end up getting flu jabs? Are we going to end up getting some sort of vaccine that's mandated? You know, you and me today got told that we had to download the track and trace app if we wanted to sit in a Nero, and we went, very cool story.
Eat a bag of dicks.
We went and sat in a
See
park.
you later.
Yeah, just went and sat in a park. Can't QR code me with that. But that was stressful. And it unnerved me a little bit, and I had to have a few pumps. Exactly. I had to have a few pumps. Calm me right down. xbrain.co.uk, Coffee Combat, CBD oil, protein, supplements. He's wearing the T-shirt. He's sold out big, and he shield. They are our ride or die from day one. Okay, our Viking brothers, xbrain.co.uk. Again, it will work for every single xbrain branded product. You can get a default 10% if you want to go for the Onnit products. They are the EU distributor of all things Onnit. They've got the rules. They've got it all. Shumtech Sport, probably the best supplement, I would say, in the game. Protein powder, exceptional. CBD oil, exceptional.
Shit.
True Blue, nootropic. For me, True Blue is better than Alpha Brain. For me, in my personal opinion. And the reason for that is, for whatever reason, Alpha Brain, they changed the formula, made me feel a bit sick. And that included the drinks and the tabs. And, you know, I don't do things by halves. If it says take 2 tabs, taking 6. He was taking
the sheet of that motherfucker.
Yeah, I was taking a sheet of that True Blue as well. Didn't realise that you meant to cut that and take that in 4 quarters, not in one blast. Whatever. We don't give a fuck, do we? Right. xbrain.co.uk, Coffee Combat saves you 30%. UFC 253 Streets. Should we start with Sanchez?
Yeah.
So, much respect to Diego Sanchez, a true legend of MMA.
Absolute savage.
A barbarian. A staple of the early days of the UFC. He did the Ultimate Fighter at middleweight, then went down to... God, he went down to every weight, didn't he?
Yeah.
He really has. He's had a crack at all of it. Best intros of all time. Walking in, holding a cross, screaming yes. Yes.
He loves the yes.
He loves a yes. He's a very positive man. I think that he would either be your best friend or your worst enemy. Like, yeah. Even down to when they were calling the start of the fight, he was giving it the Blackowicz in the corner. Like, he was looking, he was bouncing around, he was having a proper jiggle. He didn't, like, no disrespect, he didn't physically look good. He looked like he had a Sharpie and just went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do some positive affirmations and emblems for myself. And I'm going to draw this here. And what I'm going to do, I can't do it on my shoulder blades. So I'm going to rig a system with like a broomstick and a dream. It didn't look good. And at one part, he did a Will Ferrell-esque prancing saunter crane kick into the center of the octagon. And
I mean, Askren's comment about the jump knee was just brilliant. Even I'd see that one coming. So.
Like, it's time, Diego. It's time, mate. Like, he dropped a decision to Mathews. Like, it's time.
Yeah.
Let's stop. Like, respect. You've done so much.
Yeah.
If you need money, fine. I respect that. Do whatever you want to do. But, like, if you don't, and I know you're doing it for the love of the game, get a PlayStation.
All great warriors have their last battle, you know.
Exactly.
And, I think that time's come. Definitely, like, you know, I know they're very close, so I don't want to shit on him too much, or at least maybe find a new corner. Something.
Yeah, maybe. You
know, that got a bit weird real fucking quick.
It always does, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'd like? I'd like if he has one more, but what the corner has is, like, they have like drums from Karate Kid 2. But the drum is the string is made of his hair, right? And like the beaters are made of like teeth or something, right? That's just all I want. And I want him to have dream catchers just in the corner. You know, like when they come out with a stool, they make Diego stand, but they put dream catchers in the corner. And they just like do some incense and like just give it that. That's all I want. Anyway, there was another one which was Hakeem Duhpuahus,
which I caught up on. Holy shit! Yeah.
Animal, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the right hump about that, didn't he? Classic, almost like a UFC fighter. Yeah, he was just hyped. He just wanted it. You do something, you slug. But he's almost of like that type mold of 5 to 7 years ago, of like the Summit, GSP, Johnny Hendricks, Rashad Evans, like that competent overall striker, very good hands, very good wrestler, like bodied up, strong, powerful, explosive. He's of that, but he obviously he's got a lot more because the game's moved on a lot more. He looked good. I think for 145, he's someone to watch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, really good. Explosive as fuck.
And, I think his opponent came in £5 over as well, which he weren't overly amused about.
Sure. I mean, as you wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like, Izzy had that go, and I saw the interview with Dana where he was saying, you know, like some of the guys that got fucked. So
he had a go at him in the cage.
Yeah.
As well as at the press conference. Yeah. 205.
And Dana was like, look, he's not wrong. He's like, but that's not me. That's the commission. Like, they definitely need to. You take 90% of someone's salary, unless they come on weight, they're going to be on fucking weight. He's like, there should be harsher punishments. So it's true.
I think there should be.
Yeah, look, you're a professional. Like, it's a disrespect to all the people that kill themselves making weight. Because why wouldn't you just go, you know what, fuck it, I'll pay a little bit of a fine and just feel amazing, rather than I'm going to kill myself to get these last £5 off. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the second that you sign the contract, you've agreed, as far as I'm aware. Like, I don't think there's much excuse to not make weight. The second you've signed, if you can't make weight, don't sign.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I had, I remember for one of, because I only had a few of the MMA fights, and one of them, I know the guy was indulging a bit of the performance enhancing, and obviously stopped it for the fight to happen, but lost a lot of weight. So he was like, reached out through the promoter that he wanted to catch weight, and I was like, no. And he's like, because he dropped a whole bunch of weight, and it's like, listen, man, you can come underweight if you want, but this is the fucking cut. It ain't my fault if you're, you know, doing this shit. Obviously, you don't have direct contact with them, but I'm just like, make weight, man. Just fucking, you sign a contract. That's what, you know, you just turn up like that. There's no ifs, ands, buts, maybes. It's just like, if it's dangerous, don't proceed with the fight, because obviously safety first. But you say you're going to be a weight, fucking come at that weight. It's part of the job.
Exactly. I need to pee really bad.
Do it.
I'm going to pause it.
Do it.
205. New champ. I mean, sort of. But yes, new champ. Yes. Whatever. Like, yeah, good. John Jones takes it whenever he wants. I'm not being disrespectful, but this is reality. John Jones has never lost, right? Got DQ'd, never lost. Yeah. Right? Even when it looked like he was going to lose, he never loses. He's given up his belt. These two, I can't even remember their names. It's so late now. Reyes and
Dominic Reyes.
Yeah. Reyes had COVID on his ribs, is what he had from the first round. From kicks or punches, whatever it was, he had like hives and welts, and it looked appalling.
Yeah.
He looked like he had roid acne on his ribs from one of them shots. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, they are fucking quite... And like Reyes' fight against Jones, holy shit. Mm-hmm. Like, did he fucking bring it? Like, incredible. It is one of those things. Jones is Jones, you know, and that belt, the reality is it's his when he wants it. When he comes back... Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys. He's a specimen. He's of the generation. He's that guy. Yeah. I do hope the heavyweight thing actually happens. It'll be really interesting to see how that goes. But you know, it's also exciting breathing some fresh air into the division because there's a lot of savages there, right? Yeah. So it's not like you need that outlier to just dominate, or there's a high chance that it'll be like. You remember the light heavyweight, it bounced, you know, like Chuck dominated, and then it kind of went from here to there, and then Forrest and here, blah, 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 blah. Rampage and everything. That may happen again, who knows? But Jan Blackowicz, fucking amazing powerhouse of a man.
Mm-hmm. He looked thick, didn't he?
Yeah. He blasted Reyes away in the seconds. He's a strong motherfucker, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah,
it was just another one, a classic UFC endeavor, wasn't it? It was decent, scrap, drop, finish.
Yeah.
New champ.
Yeah.
Speaking of champs, should we go main event?
Let's do that. Izzy.
No, I wanted to talk about the actual champ, which is Costa's pants. That geezer has a motorbike crash helmet for a cup. He has it was alarmingly noticeable how big that geezer's cup was. It was like he had my head in his pants, right? What is the geezer holding? Right? That must be like a thick beige Brazilian. Like, guarantee you, he has been paid for sex before. I guarantee you that. Like, you can't be bodied up with a piece like that and be Brazilian. He's like that geezer's.
His OnlyFans is going off.
Oh my god, it's thriving. I think it's a coiler. Big. Anyway, to the fight.
But like, that's the thing. You like, it's one of them weird things. You know, like Brock Lesnar, he tries on the gloves and they're like, "Oh fuck, it doesn't fit in there. We need to make you custom." Is it that kind of situation out the back? It's like, "Oh shit, hang on, actually, that's
I'm willing to find out."
Because otherwise, why doesn't everyone do that? You know what? Give me a 4XL down here because I'm going on national TV. I don't want to look good.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that much of a benefit, is it? Your shit is just sloshing around in a fishbowl. It's much like the glove, I think. I think the more air there is in there, the more damage of jangle there is. So I'm going to assume that he's got it coiled.
It's necessary.
Gang shit. Powerful.
Super
Costa.
necessary, as Masvidal would say.
Super necessary. Let's find out. Like, if anyone knows, DM. If anyone's got a picture, I'm willing to see.
Oh fuck! Please send them direct to Rob because I know what sort of like,
send it to me.
shitstorm this is going to bring up.
Ian don't need that. He don't need that at all. It was a complete and utter shutdown by Stylebender, wasn't it? At no point did it look like it was going to be a fight at anything. He moves like something from Naruto / insert any anime out there.
Fucking ninja. Like, and the thing is, Costa is a legit savage.
Yeah,
like
really
the
is.
Romero fight, brutal as fuck. He brings it all the time. And those are really important for context. You know what I mean? Because if you just watch fight, you go, that was a one-sided beatdown. But then you realize the other guy is a fucking animal. It's like watching a Loma fight. It's like, no. That guy is world-class. It's just comparatively, there's no competition. It was the same with Izzy. Izzy just made a world champion guy look
basic.
I couldn't touch him.
He absolutely destroyed his lead leg. Like, he left toe marks in the geezer's calf.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even like the welt at the top of the foot. It was toe marks he left all over him. He fucked up his knee, fucked up his calf, inside and outside, and like even down to the stoppage.
Yeah.
It was intentional. It wasn't like a cuffing blow. It was a lean back, drop the left hook at the pit of his jaw. And then even gave him a little dance, didn't he? He gave him a little teabag at the end.
Yeah. And also too, like with the ground and pound, as soon as the ref was coming to stop it, he like started laying in the elbows just to make sure, just seal the deal. And then a dry hump as he got up.
Yeah, you got to give him the teabag. Like I think he feels quite disrespected for some reason as a chat. I don't know if that's what he has to do to fuel himself. But it seems to be that he feels quite disrespected. But he's one of the few people in the UFC these days that I genuinely will watch him fight anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
win, lose, or draw. Anyone. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like he said after this, look, I took no damage. I'm good to go. Like, bring on the next one.
Yeah. I mean, like even in the press conference, he was like, "This isn't my first or second or fifth win. It's my 100th win." 100th. Yeah, 100 win in combat sports. Like he's been there, he's done it, and respect to him. He put out a fuck you of an Instagram tweet today, the Rolls Royce one. It was like
I didn't see that. I thought
it was like me driving Rolls Royce coupe, new policeman pulls me over. How much did that cost? And then he comes back, me. It cost her a lot, lol. And it was just like, mate. And then he posted himself with the picture of the white belt that he had at the beef at the conference. Imagine how stressful it is for Dana with them press conferences. Like he's had a couple of like nightmare ones, and who was that geezer who gave it the? He gave it like the hooker, like the hooker. He was talking Klingon to someone, weren't he? Shouting at him. He was absolutely going at someone, and Dana was just like even did like a cutaway of him just looking at him, just like, all right, fucking hell. Must be quite hard being him.
Oh fuck! But I mean, talk about turning something into gold. Jesus Christ! Like
there it is. But Stylebender, like he shouldn't. I don't really want to see him. He's tall and he's very thin and very long. I don't know how well he manages at 205. I think he should just rule 185. Like there's nothing wrong with ruling one division. It's very different than boxing.
Look, he's still a relatively new champ. It's just that he's a super fucking dominant champ.
Yeah.
But there's still super compelling matchups. And yeah, I know him and Jones have been going forward and back, but like when you got super elite level guys that share similar attributes, but one is noticeably bigger, generally that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, rounds it up. As I say, what is Costa packing? Like
back to the essential questions.
The essential question. Like I've never seen a cup like it in the UFC. Ever.
Anyway, really, fuck it.
Ever. Yeah. Literally a fishbowl. Anyway.
The John Holmes special.
Yeah. There's been a lot of news.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
A lot of news. Did you think we were nearly done?
Yeah.
We are nearly done, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet. They've started a crowdfunding GoFundMe for Danny Williams to keep him out the ring, which is a bit sad. Yeah. Big Danny, like, he's got a salty record now. What did you say he's 48, 47?
He's 47 years old, record 54 and 29.
I mean, like, just yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it might be all, it literally might be all he knows. For all I know, that's what he identifies himself as. It's always going to be what he identifies himself as, and you just can't keep him out of the ring like that.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, you know, that war where he's got his fucking torn shoulder, shit, like,
and wins,
getting a one-arm win, beating Mike Tyson or the remnant of still, but yeah, so he fought. We actually meant to discuss this. I forgot to mention it because I love Sergey Karatanov from the MMA days, back in Pride and everything. But yeah, he transitioned to boxing, and it just Danny is, you know, he just turned up, you know, and he got just smashed up, and so they started that crowdfunding to keep him out of the cage and keep him out of the ring, and I really hope that helps because it's sad. When they have to do it, it's sad. You know, you want it to be the sort of thing where it's addictive, you know, like everyone's shouting your name and that sort of stuff, but you don't want to think it's because they need it just to survive.
Because the thing is, like, how much can he possibly be being paid as well?
Yeah.
You know, like Danny Williams is Danny Williams, but also, right, you know, it's whatever. Conor versus Manny Pacquiao, eh?
Fucking, yeah.
How do you feel about that? Conor's even shaved his beard off for this.
Streamlined.
He's all clean shorn.
That's a 2020 matchup if ever I saw one. Like Logan and Floyd and Conor. And listen, look, fair play to it. It's the same with Floyd. It's like he said, I defeated champion after champion. People didn't give me my respect. I'm done as a boxer. I'm an entertainer now. And if people are going to keep paying, of course he's going to keep doing it. Same thing with Conor. He goes 0-2, but fuck me, he's made more than like most boxers ever will, you know?
Like the only downside to that will be like if he does get hurt, because it's a definitive difference with Pacquiao, and depending on how he hypes that fight, depending on the shit that he talks to try and sell the tickets, and yes, he is all business beforehand and he is a devout martial artist afterwards, very respectful in defeat, all of that stuff. It's still not like Manny has that switch. He's always had that switch, and he always has that ability to dial it up. And, you know, like, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of him overall, but I can't deny
Yeah, and I'm
what
done
an
with the fact
amazing
that, you know,
fighter
fuck
he
it.
is.
I'll
right?
take up that percentage,
Yeah.
and between us, we
Exactly.
form like Voltron.
But his power's undeniable. Like, you got to look at the people that he didn't knock out. Their face is melted.
Yeah.
You know, like, he collapsed Margarito's head. David Diaz, like, what was that?
I mean, look at the
Elephant
size
Man.
difference between him and fucking Margarito. Like, that is insane. That 11-shot combo.
Yeah, and every single one, like Tim Bradley said, every single punch that he throws hurts.
Yeah,
they're not like feeler ones. Like, every single one, a jab, a touch. He said it all hurts.
Well, it's not like Hatton can't take a shot, but mate, fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Rest in power, Rick. Reached out to him, didn't I? Slid into his DMs. No response. No response. Yeah.
That's right, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Dominic Ingle read my message, didn't respond. Fine. All right. I'll keep trying. Bothered. Anyway, Conor versus Manny in the Middle East. Probably be a big Riyadh job. Fine.
Yeah.
100%. We will be doing a fight companion for it. 100%. We will be watching it, paying for it, whatever you want to do.
I mean, don't get it twisted. We know how it's going to end. And if it was in the cage, it would end, you know, there would be no dispute. But this is a boxing ring. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao is an 8-division world champion. But
it's squash versus tennis.
Yeah.
You know, a tennis player will be able to be okay for a bit on a squash court and vice versa, because racket sport is racket sport, but it's a difference.
And Manny's going to come with that venom, you know, it'll be a different sort of fight because, and as we said, Conor will approach it differently too. He'll come front-footed. He'll think that he can exert his sort of power and size and that sort of stuff. And Manny still, look, an old Manny, he showed in his last outing, he's still fucking Manny.
He's still Manny. He's still fast. He's still powerful. He's more skilled now than he's ever been. I mean, I'm not sure that happens that much in nature, but whatever. Whatevs. All good.
Happy with Marcus.
Yeah. Del Boy and Usyk signed 31st Halloween.
And what a card that's looking up to, because they've added Cambosis Jr. and Selby.
Big. They still haven't said where it's going to be yet, have they?
Yeah, that's true.
But they're doing a card this weekend in what they call the bubble, like the matchroom bubble, whatever that is. So I'm guessing it might be some sort of variant of that. And this is where we will be. We're officially announcing, because the equipment has turned up today. Today, Jesse Page, the Gypsy fucking Prince. A man that's had more staffs and more moody gold, and yes, the beautiful flowing hair. Is he Auburn? Is he Jean-Jure? We don't know. But he's always a G. He's another one, right? He's another fucker who, every time I stand next to him, I'm like, you're so annoyingly tall that I never remember how tall you are. He's another one.
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
And he's got the arm to match. I don't have the wingspan, but he fucking does. One time,
I bumped into Jess, and he was dressed exactly like a pimp. Right? He had a fur-collared black coat on. He had grey slacks.
I think I know that coat.
Grey slacks and a mustard roll neck. And I was like, where are you fucking going? And he's like, yeah.
Gonna go to work.
Going to work. And I'm like, all right, sure. Okay. And the other person who will be heading up the quartet will be Larry the Natural, right?
Yeah.
So either he's going to be spitting ridiculous stories that no one understands, not because of an accent or anything like that, because he just talks random. Like, if you think I talk shit, you want to listen to Larry. Tells you some stories about, like, you know, fucking back in that, you know, I used to have a gum shield and I didn't use a gum shield. I used a rock, and then I used the rock. The rock became my best friend, but then my best friend died, and then something else. And you're like, I don't know what you just said. I literally don't know what you just said. And then he'll call you by another name. So yeah, he's either going to be absolutely a dream to have on there, or he's going to sit there just lemon that people are talking during the fights, or turn up 3 weeks beforehand or 3 weeks after, because he's already texted me twice to say, when is it again? Is it 8 o'clock? I'm like, yeah. Tomorrow? No, the 31st of September. No, September ends on the 30th. Powerful Laz. Location is as yet to be discussed.
Yes.
Location is the smallest of the issues. Smallest of the issues. Looking very forward to it. It won't be live, but we will have it ready to put out the morning after. Let's see what happens. Can we coattail off someone else's success? Of course we can. Lol.
Watch us.
Yeah.
Watch us.
Watch us. Anyway, Brooks versus Crawford. Again, signed, sealed, done. ESPN. November 14th. My little girl's birthday. We could, to be fair, do a companion on that one as well, because she's going to be 6. So she's going to be asleep by 8. That's going to be in the States. We're fine, right? That doesn't make me a bad dad. That makes me trying to secure the bag for her.
That's it.
That's what I'm
makes
saying.
You efficient.
I'm efficient, right? I said to you that Brooke will look world class for 5 to 7 rounds because he is world class. But
I think closer to the 5 rounds.
I think chances are closer to the 5 round. Bud is Bud.
Yeah.
I cannot see any way other than a cold corking shot, but nothing has really led you to believe that is even
susceptible to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Look, the weight's a problem. The time out of the ring's a problem. The fact
the
that
opponent's
it's
a problem.
Yeah.
The location's a problem. It's not even for that much money. It's 1.5 mil reported dollars, not sterling. So 1.1 sterling. Like, yes, that's a lot of money, right? But that's an awful lot. You know, he's not shy. Like, he's fine money wise. The Golovkin ones, sorted him out. But it's a tough one. Yeah. It's a real tough one.
And it's not like he ain't been in wars, because, you go in with Triple G and Spence and
He's had both of his he literally had his face broken. Yeah. Twice. Almost lost vision. Twice. Speaking of Triple G, apparently he's been moved to the Garcia Spence card.
Yes.
Which would be delish against some guy.
Is that Miles Mayer or however you say it or whatever? So, yeah.
What has he got to do, right? He has a little period of having, like, decent named opponents.
Wait for Canelo to sign.
Yeah. Like, he's just... Like, yeah, it's a shame. Loma and Lopez apparently doesn't have a UK TV outlet now.
Criminal.
Right? How can that be? Surely if there's no UK TV outlet, then there's got to be a UK TV outlet that just rings up Bob and gives him an absolute lowball figure and says, just give it to us.
Yeah, man. Or we set up some Buddy G style fucking pirate radio version of it.
Right. Listen, if you don't want people to stream it, make it available. And make it available at a non-piss take price, and make it accessible as a one-off job, and people will do it. I'd do it.
Fuck yeah. Like we're saying, it's not going to be hard to watch Floyd fight Logan Paul. Why is it hard to watch such an incredible fight, Loma versus Lopez?
I have always been fascinated with the fact that the streamers have the technology and the ability to do it on the fly as a reactive measure to the main companies, but the main companies are unable to do a paywall stream where you pay $4.99 for the card online, or a yearly pass. Like, imagine if it was $250 a year or something, and like a DAZN Plus with everything. Fine, I'll do it in a heartbeat. No big deal. Anyway, I'm sure that will get sorted out. The last thing that we're going to have to discuss are the Chavez's.
Oh, fuck.
Chavez Senior at age 75 looked better than Chavez Junior, who picked a fight with a woefully undersized 12-0 prospect.
And
inexperienced 12-0 prospect, and then got stopped.
Still got the L.
God, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop.
I mean,
He looks fucking huge as well. Have you seen the size of him? He's been on them special tacos, hasn't he? Huh? He's been on the fish tacos, man. You know. What else? What else do you say about that? It's just like,
I mean, he legit thought he was up on the cards. He thought, this is my way out. Headbutt, fucking. Nah.
To quote the legendary Nanny Lou, all went out of shame. And she'll say that when someone is on the special needs side down the street and they've done something wrong, all went out of shame. There we are. That's what she'll say. And that's what I say to Chavez Jr. And out of shame.
Hang him up, son. Hang him up.
Yeah. You've made more money than you ever should have. Like, dare I say that? More money than you probably should have done. Yeah. Right? You probably have.
Let's be real. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him, but if his dad wasn't his dad, for sure he wouldn't be getting the paydays that he's getting. Because it's like getting Freddie Roach to train you at your place because you can't be fucked going down to the gym. You know, things like that.
I'm surprised Freddie did it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, it must be out of respect for the dad. I don't know. Like, maybe he's like Junior's goddad or something. Who knows? Right? It's. I'm just surprised that he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
I think that is
for EP 14.2.
.2/B.
Yeah.
Hyphen.
There's a couple of guests this week. Denzel Bentley, like I said. Jamie Quinn, who I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah, he fought on the card just gone, and he fought 2 weeks ago on the card against Jezebel. And then there's
he's probably going to be on the way to a fight when he speaks to us.
Probably. And then there's a potential Yas Queen epic person. Hopefully this weekend. I'm just trying to lock down times with her. Going all right. Please, everyone.
We've got more in the works.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like, rate, subscribe, share. Anyone that you think that will like this podcast, send it their way. You know what I mean? Like, don't be selfish. Share. And the more you share, the more likelihood of Streets and I doing this professionally and getting paid for it. And we get to live out your dream. You get the chance to be our virtual friends, and we care about you. Okay? We care about you so much that we're having conversations with you and around you, even in your ear in your office, while you perform your drudgery. Now, I don't aim or pretend like I'm better than you, but I am. Streets is better than you. He's probably taller than you as well, and his beard is very thick. I'm just going to say it. Like, rate, subscribe, share. Give it to anyone and everyone. I'm very much so looking forward to attempting the Fight Companion. We may be doing it. The Gypsy Prince's new caravan is one option.
Stealing the Wi-Fi from the neighbors.
No, he's got a cable. He's got a library next to him. He's broken in and just done a long cable into his Wi-Fi router, bless him. Yeah. Powerful. Shout out to the Gypsy Prince. Streets, I love you. Bye-bye.
Love you, baby. See you, mate.